Hey everyone, this is PJ Ferguson with Web.Ninja, welcoming you to Ninjaversity, our free weekly WordPress webinars where we talk about all things WordPress. And basically, we base all of our topics on whatever you're interested in learning about. So if you have questions, feel free to send those in to either PJ at Web.Ninja or Ninjaversity at Web.Ninja. And we'll add whatever topic it is that you're interested that you'd like to learn to our queue, and we'll talk about it. You can join us and ask your questions live, and we'll answer them for you in real time. You don't have to wait. Um, this week, we are going to talk about something that interests a lot of people, but it's also a little scary to people, which is SEO, or search engine optimization. This is where the whole thing about SEO is that you are getting the attention of the search engines so that they know when people search for something, say on Google or Yahoo, Bing, um, that when they search for something related to your website actually pops up in the search results. So I'm gonna kind of go through the whole process where I give you a feel for what's happening beforehand and how you can actually create the image you want people to see when they do a search and your website shows up in those search results. So the thing about SEO, I had to find a really good picture to illustrate this here, is that SEO is about creating a web. It's about creating relationships between your website and itself, as well as with other websites. And that might be social networks, directories, other people's websites, say friends, colleagues, and and by creating this web, the search engines start to get an idea of what your website is all about. So that keyword for that being relevance. What is your site relevant towards? What topic is your site all about, or topics? And by the web that you create, very strategically, if you're doing really good SEO, you're strategically creating this beautiful web where your site is interconnected with other websites and related to certain topics, with you hopefully in the center of this beautiful web. Your keywords, you've heard keywords and key phrases a bunch of times. Maybe you are clear on what those are or not. But you have your keywords, which are the basic, most important topics that your website is about. And then you can see all these little tendrils going off, and these would represent the different websites or directories, etc., that your website is connected to, because they've, in most cases, linked back to your website. And basically, it's kind of like a web, or maybe even a funnel, where the search engines are saying, oh, okay, here's the relationships that your website has to all these other websites. Here's the topics that they're related to. Here's the kind of activity they're related to, as well as, in some cases, the types of people who are interacting on those sites, and finding their way to you, hopefully. So if you do a really good job with your SEO, it's going to be this beautiful, very clearly laid out, very direct picture. Whereas if you don't do a very good job, this is what the search engines are going to see. Now, if the search engines see this, well, your SEO is gonna struggle. Okay, to put it nicely, you might not get much of a response at all. And what you do get might be people who aren't looking for what your site's about in the first place. And my cardinal rule is that no traffic is bad traffic, but if you can get the clear, targeted type of traffic that's going to be your ideal clients, you're always going to want to opt for that. So let's have the beautiful web, not this ugly little splat. And so I want to backtrack just a little bit and talk about the process that we're going to cover today, and the plugin Yoast SEO that helps you. It really walks you through the process of creating a really good image, both for the search engines and for the people searching for your topics, or the topics that are on your website. And so when you do a search, I did a little search for Web Ninja, and my website's new, but it's already showing up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th spot, which I would say is pretty good after being out there for 2 months. I'm already showing up on the first page. Partly it's because Web and Ninja are both in the actual URL itself. That's always the best place to start when you're doing SEO. And what you see here, each of these is a search result, right? So each of these websites has a header, which is going to be this part here. Google displays certain different things. In this case, you've got the URL and you've got the description. This website, for instance, on Facebook, they have ratings. So sometimes the ratings will show up, and that can be really, really good for your business because people do go by ratings a lot these days. But first, what I wanted you to see is this is what a good search result looks like. Now, if you haven't crafted your search results very carefully, it will be a crapshoot what shows up, whether you have a good topic with good SEO keywords and phrases in it, and a description. I've run into a lot of people where they didn't specify what would show up in the description of the site. So what they had was really just random content. Sometimes it was even just the copyright content. Now, if I'm searching for something like Web Ninja or divorce attorneys, I don't want to see copyright info. I want to see something here that captures my attention and prompts me to click, like, oh yes, this is exactly what I'm looking for. I need to click, right? So what we're going to talk about today is how to create this header and this description so that it includes your keywords and as a bunch of other things we'll go through. So this is a really, really good webinar for you if you would like to get more and better search clicks to your website, because once you get that started, that's like free traffic to your website month after month after month. And if you do a really good job and you keep doing things like blogging, then you can actually increase that traffic exponentially. I very frequently get clients double the traffic just by doing good SEO. And what we're talking about today is part of that, okay? So I think that that's a clear enough description. So I'm going to skip a little bit of what I was going to talk about. Going to take you right to, let me just show you your dashboard when you first log in. And over here, once you install Yoast SEO plugin, you're going to have, here's the dashboard for Yoast. So you can get that over here on the left, or you can also get some information up here with this little icon here. There's keyword research information, there's SEO settings, which is the same as all of these little menu items here. So when you first set up Yoast SEO, they actually have a configuration wizard. I have to say Yoast has done a really fantastic job with this plugin. I'm very impressed. I'm very happy with it. They've made some changes over the years, which is normal. Some of the changes have been improvements. Some of them have been backslides as far as I'm concerned. They took away some features that I thought were really important and powerful, but that he's the creator, so they decide what's up. Now there is a premium. What I'm showing you today is the free version, but there is a premium version. If you need more to go with your SEO plugin, you can get all these type of features. Now, if you're just super duper into SEO, which I am for some of my clients, then you might just shell out the few bucks that are for the premium. It's worth it. Now, again, going back, when you first set it up, there's a configuration wizard that will take you step by step, trying to choose some settings for your website that are going to help optimize your site for the search engines. It's a very good configuration wizard. So start by doing that. This is a text link counter. And another thing I like about really good plugins is that they describe what each of these things is. So I'm not actually going to spend a whole lot of time describing what each of them are because there's so much to cover in this webinar. that if you read each of these things and just give it time. That's the biggest thing about WordPress, is that you just have to give it the time to learn what each of the things are, figure out what is the most important thing for you to focus on, and then pay the attention that it needs to better that. Okay, so text link counter is just counting the links that are on your site. You can go ahead and run this if you're curious about that. What that's referring to goes back to the beautiful web picture that I showed you. This is kind of giving you a picture of what your web looks like. Credits goes to Yoast. He did a great job. I'm sure he has a team of crack coders that are doing a fantastic job with this plugin. And restore default settings, which is obvious. You've got the features tab. And again, each of these is described. I have most of mine enabled. I have all of mine enabled because I feel like most of these are pretty important. As a really quick description of some of these, the readability I find medium important. Sometimes on my blogging, I feel like I need to just be conversational. That can turn out to be not super readable as far as this analyzing software is concerned. But sometimes on my blog posts, I'm not really concerned about that. I really just want to be straightforward and conversational. The keyword analysis is absolutely important. That's really the whole point of this thing, of this plugin. So I would actually put that, this should be above at the top because it's the most important. It should always be enabled. Advanced settings, that depends on what level of experience you are. If you want to do some advanced stuff, go for it. The right integration, I don't find myself using this, but it is enabled. The admin bar, that's just this thing if you want to have that there. Cornerstone content is important. I really like that they put the link here of how you can improve your site structure. I absolutely recommend that you read this article. And I also recommend that you read the article linked to here for the text link counter, because these explain a lot. It's actually, they're so good that they're going to be more than most beginners or intermediate people are interested in or even have the mental bandwidth for. Not because they're not intelligent, it's just because as a business owner, I know that you're going to be most focused on your business, your clients, and improving your business and relationship with those clients and new clients, okay? But if you read these, it starts to give you a really good picture as to why linking is important, interlinking is important, how to do that. Also, the Cornerstone content, that's kind of a new feature, which you can now tell the search engines what is the most important content, especially if you're doing blogging. You get this option now, which I think is awesome, to tell the search engines, okay, I have lots of content, I talk about lots of different varied stuff, but this is the stuff that I want the search engines to pay the most attention to. So with these two topics right here, these are two of the most important and powerful ways that you tell the search engines very strategically what your website is all about and where the search engines should be sending people when your website pops up in those search results that I showed you just a minute ago. Okay, so yes, please read. I've spent enough time rambling on that, so I'll move on. Company info, this really, they go through this here in the configuration wizard, but you can always edit it here in case something changes. Webmaster tools, this is where you get to connect this plugin directly with the different webmaster tools for the biggest search engines out there. So you can see I've linked mine to the Bing webmaster tools, the Yandex webmaster tools, which is Yahoo. I've actually connected my Google Search Console, which used to be called Webmaster Tools. I think Google is always trying to set itself apart by, it started as Webmaster Tools, but once these guys came in and created their own, now Google had to be called something else. But I connected mine in a different manner, so I don't have to put the information here. And then security, I have mine disabled because I don't really need that feature. I don't have other people blogging or people that I don't know creating or editing content on my site. So those are basically the tabs that you'll get across the top in the general area, okay? There are titles and metas. And again, each of these is going to have their different settings, and I don't want to spend too much time on this because it's not the focus of this webinar, but if you guys have questions, feel free to ask them. If you're watching this video afterward, ask your questions in the comments because I am going to answer your questions in the comments. I'll reply, and you can go ahead and get your questions answered before or after. You've got different settings that you can set. And it really is very straightforward as to explaining what each of these is for. If you need to go somewhere else, like for instance, the home page, that actually takes you to a different place, and it just takes you right there, which I think is fantastic. They've made it as user-friendly as I could possibly imagine. And there's different settings, which part of why I'm not going to explain each of these things is because some of them are advanced, as well as there are reasons for doing, say, index or no index, and depending on who you are, what your site is about, you might have everyone's going to have specific combination of stuff. So I don't want to talk too much in the direction that might be the wrong direction for you. So again, if you have the questions, please ask. We have social settings, XML sitemaps. Sitemaps are really important because this is a web type of structure that you send to the search engine so that they can see, all right, what is the web that they're creating here? What are the keywords and phrases that they're using that they're trying to focus on the most? What is the structure that we should be displaying to people searching for this information? And one of the major ways that you do that is through your sitemap. So make sure you have a sitemap. Make sure it is a well-done sitemap so that it's not just helter-skelter information, but that it is focused on the most important keywords and phrases for your site relevance. Some advanced tools, Search Console, and then again, there's premium if you need more. But I would actually like to get right to the meaty stuff, how we actually use this plugin in real world scenario. So I'm taking you to the homepage of my website, and you can see I've got a lot of content on the homepage. I want people to be able to scroll on the site and get lots of good info. But once you get past the content of your page, you're going to see this Yoast SEO widget right here. You can show or hide it. I guess I'm going to scroll up here to show you. You can scroll or hide it with the screen options. And I always recommend looking at the screen options because there's a lot of things you can show or hide to your convenience and preference. And then I'll actually just go ahead and minimize this. Now, you can see my readability is crap. I'll just say it how it is. My readability on this page is crap. One, because I am using Visual Composer plugin, which I love and highly recommend, and I'll probably do a webinar on. But mostly, my homepage is not for readability. It's for at-a-glance type of information. It is not even conversational. It's bold headers with a little bit of supporting text and then a call to action or a button link to click to get more information about that topic, because I want people to be scrolling through my homepage and then clicking for more information on whatever pertains to them most or they're most interested in. And so the place to really start that I start, of course, you're always going to get my perception of things, so I encourage you to do your own research and clicking around. But I always start with the keyword. Now, what Yoast SEO allows you to do is once you've picked a keyword, there should always be one main keyword or phrase per page. You can have a supporting keyword or phrase, maybe even two, depending on what you're talking about or what you're trying to tell the search engines. But you really should have just one topic that page is about. And then once you put that in here, which here I've put web services, then the plugin walks you through the process of improving the SEO for that keyword or phrase. So you type it in here. Right here, I want to focus this page on web services because that's what my website is all about. Web Ninja, there's not a lot of people searching for that, honestly. So it's going to be easy for me to rank for that because it is the URL of my site. But I want to do a focus keyword that's something a little different, which is going to be what my site is about. So my site's not about Web Ninjas, that's my brand. My site is about web services. So I have chosen this. I did some SEO research. There were different options that I could have gone with, but I went with this one for certain reasons. And once I put this in, then Yoast SEO plugin starts doing its magic. It starts giving you an analysis of how good is this page as far as what the search engine rules are, how they rank certain pages or sites. And then you also have the option of editing very specific parts of those search engine results, the search results that show up. So basically, right here, you remember the search results that I showed before, and this is going to be maybe a little messy. Welcome to Web Ninja, web service to help your business kick butt. And I'll go ahead and close this. And that's what is right here. One thing I love about this plugin is that it very specifically allows you to choose something here that shows up for the search engines that is different for what you actually have here in the title of the page. So the title of the page is home. I do not want home to be showing up here. It doesn't look professional. It's descriptive of the keyword that I've chosen, the key phrase. And so the search engine, if I had home showing up here, it would probably take more and more months for my website to show up in any decent kind of ranking in search results if people are searching for Web Ninja. And that's not good. It's not good for business. It's not good for traffic. And people who really need my services aren't going to find me. And that is not what I want. So I love that I can edit the SEO title, the search engine title, specifically with the content that I want the search engines to rank my site for, which again is web services. I want this page to be ranked for web services. I know it's a long shot because there's millions of web services sites out there. But with a good SEO strategy, I can actually get my site to start ranking higher and higher for that search term. Okay, again, it goes back to that beautiful web structure that I showed you at the beginning and how you create that. So again, here you're going to see the meta description, and we can edit that very specifically right here. So you can see I've got web services to help the solopreneur, entrepreneur, and small and medium-sized businesses. Oh my gosh, here we go. That's right here. And you can see not all of it shows up. The different search engines are going to have different lengths of description that they display. You want to use pretty much all of it because if you're being smart about your SEO strategy, you're going to be able to throw in some other types of, because one thing I am trying to rank for a little bit is solopreneur, and I have reasons for that. And so you can actually, by using up the full description length, you can throw in some other types of keywords and phrases that are going to be important for your business. Now, the other thing about meta description, which is awesome, is that you can start your web content with something more conversational. For instance, you'll see here my website has a big header, create something awesome in business and life. Okay, that's not going to be a search engine friendly type of content. That's not going to help me rank for web services. And frankly, if people saw that here, they may or may not be reeled in. Right here, I want them to see what my site is about and whether it pertains to what they're looking for. So if they're looking for web services and I'm trying to rank for web services, then I'm going to have web services show up here. And when they get to the site, I'm going to hit them with my philosophy And so I can have a very strategic way of crafting the experience that web browsers have, the visitors have when they are looking for information and then encountering me, my business, my brand, and my website. Okay? So you have that power, you have that flexibility, and the first things we're going to start with when you're doing your SEO is get your keyword, get a really solid keyword to start the foundation of your site. Get that keyword into the title, get the keyword or phrase into the description. Those are going to be the most important places, okay? So I can close that editor there. Now, if you don't have those things in there, they will show up in the analysis. So the way I look at these is that I start looking at the green stuff and it starts telling you, okay, here's what you did good. Because I need to pat myself on the back pretty often because I'm hard on myself. I'm a perfectionist. I try to do the best. And if I don't, then the positive reinforcement keeps me going, okay? Now, orange is stuff that is important but not vital. Red is stuff that is vital, that it finds as vital. So let's look at the red ones first. Right here, it's saying that the focus keyword doesn't appear in the first paragraph of the copy. Make sure the topic is clear immediately. Well, I actually do. And the reason that it's not showing there, we want to change the world by helping you change yours. Our web services, so okay, that's in the first paragraph. But it's not registering for the Yoast plugin because I'm using the Visual Composer plugin. But as far as the search engines are concerned, yeah, web services is in the first paragraph or area of my website. So that's just fine. So I can actually tick this off in my mind as a green light instead of a red light. Here, the keyword density is only 0.4%. So I could actually do better with putting web services onto the homepage more. I can't remember at this moment, but because I did this a couple months ago, but I think I actually did. And again, just because I'm using Visual Composer, it's not showing up here in this widget. But that's important enough that I'm going to go check again, darn it. Now, SEO title contains the focus keywords. So it's starting with, okay, you did good, but not good enough. It doesn't begin, it's not at the beginning. So right here, it's saying, welcome to Web Ninja. Well, I actually don't want it. This is a personal preference. I don't want web services to show right at the very beginning. I want my brand and welcome message to show first. So I'm kind of choosing to have an orange light. Now, here's another orange. You've used this focus keyword once before. What that means is I've used this as a keyword on another post or page on my site. I have done that strategically, but it's raising awareness to say, hey, don't do that too much. And when you do it, be very strategic, make sure you're doing it the right way. So I'm really grateful for this orange light to make sure, hey, I might just start doing web services all over my website, but that starts looking spammy to search engines. And you really can't fool the search engines anymore. They're on to everyone. They've gotten really smart, sometimes too smart, because they can actually penalize you for using their own tactics the right way. But that's neither here nor there. You really just do your best and you'll be fine. They're not going to really penalize you or your website unless you've done something that's blatantly black hat or illegal. Now, here's another orange light. You have not used the focus keyword in a subheading, such as an H2 or H3 tag. That is something that I am going to go look at because that is important. And let's see, the images on this page do not have the alt attributes containing the focus keyword. Basically, that would be the featured image here. I think it does, but again, I'm going to go look. So you're kind of seeing me with my pants down a little bit, but the point is that for all these different items in the analysis, you get to go through every single one specifically until what you're looking for, and I wish they had the rating here. They do just with the green light, that my keyword analysis, all in all, is good. And here's where you're going to see that is up here in the publish area. So here's the Yoast icon. The SEO rating is good. readability is crap, but that's not the worst thing in the world. And that's not what I'm really going for on a homepage where I just want to get people to information that's specific to them. Sorry, I'm just cleaning house. I'm a little bit anal retentive. So all in all, I have a good rating. I have a couple of things that are important enough to me that I'm going to go check them out, make sure that I'm doing a better job with my SEO there. Because again, what I'm trying to do is give the search engines a very clear picture of what this web page is all about. So I just want to give you another example. I created an article on my blog a few days ago and posted that. And when all was said and done, it was green across the board, and I was super happy with myself being able to make that happen. It's not the worst thing in the world, but especially if you are creating Cornerstone content for your website, which I should probably go back and just state that you can, this is if you've got a page that is Cornerstone content, you can check that right here. This is where you tell the search engines, it's going to kick this plugin into gear and say, hey, we can tell the search engines that this is the most important type of information on our site. Then it's going to give you just a little bit more analysis. You can see when I click or unclick, there's a couple new items that show up that it thinks that I should improve. So I am actually going to go through that because the homepage should always be Cornerstone content for your site. I honestly can't think of a single instance, not that it's not possible, but I can't think of any reason why the homepage would not be Cornerstone content for a website. Okay, so now here's this article that I just wrote for my blog. I'm going to go through these items again just so that you can see an example. I'm putting this on text just because a few of these things do something weird when I scroll down to here. But I just want you to see the Yoast SEO plugin in action again. This is for a post, not a page, but it's going to be the same stuff. Now, the thing is that I did some really good SEO keyword research using the Google keyword tool. And I found that SMART goals would be a good, I already had a topic of what I wanted to talk about, but I want to talk about it in a way that search engines are going to like. So I take my topic, I go to the keyword search tool and do some research on the keyword or phrase that would work the best with this. And what I found was that SMART goals was a really good term to write about that pertained to my topic. So I actually kind of shifted the direction and the text of my entire article. I was actually going to do it all about this this phrase from my childhood, do it right now, which is basically do it right, and do it right now. And by doing a little search for that and landing on SMART goals, I was actually able to write this article intentionally in a way that I could have my phrase as well as a search engine friendly phrase at the same time. And that's a really important way to go with your articles. Don't just write stuff and then do some keyword research after the fact and then try to shoehorn your content so that it's got stuff thrown in here and there. I think it's a much better approach to be aware and conscious of what you're doing from the outset, because that's going to, in the long run, create smoother content both for the reader and for the search engines. Okay, so again, I start by putting in my focus keyword here. It's SMART goals, and then I basically tend to just jump down to the analysis and start seeing what it has to say. Is you need to fix this or fix that, okay? But actually, no, because I always know that this is going to be improved. I usually jump to the snippet. So I throw, in this case, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the most conversational, and it's not the most attention grabbing as far as a headline. SMART goals, how to set goals that are productive and get done. that's not like super attention grabbing, but I thought it was conversational enough way for me to put the keyword, the focus keyword, at the beginning of the SEO title, and also was able to be more conversational with the description. So just to jump back, when somebody searches for SMART goals, the idea is I want that to show up with SMART goals, blah, 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 blah. And the description, SMART goals are goals that get done. Right here is where I'm deciding what shows up. And so you want this to be attention grabbing, you want it to be interesting, you also want it to be relevant to what you think those people are actually searching for. Because if you start getting people searching for something else that you're really not the best solution for them, then that's where you start getting traffic that's not really relevant to you. And the biggest main point is that you want to attract people who are very specifically interested in your products, services, and other offerings. Okay, so that's what's good for business. Those are who you want to attract. And I'm going to show you how I tied the relevance of the article about goals to my own site and my services. Okay, because again, that's going to be useful for you to see an example of how it's used. So right now I've got an orange light in the analysis. The slug for this page contains a stop word. So I, just out of interest, I go and I take a look at what the stop word is. In this case, it's doing. Okay, doing is a stop word where the search engines basically, they lose interest in what your article or your page is about. So you want to be careful whether you leave a stop word in. This one's at the end of the phrase, so I'm really not going to lose anything by having it there. You may have very good reasons for wanting a stop word to be in there, but stop words are going to be things like a, and, the, of, if, it. A lot of those are just not useful content type of words. They're passive words. So sometimes you may want to leave them out. Sometimes you may want to leave them in. It's a judgment call. Since it's orange, I'm leaving it in. And since it's at the end of the phrase, again, leaving it in. And since I have all these other beautiful green lights, I'm leaving it in. Now, when I first wrote this article, I did not have all green. That's part of the beauty of this plugin, is that it shows you what is orange and red, and you get to go make some edits to bring it all up to green status. So these are a little bit more advanced, but it's okay. If these weren't something, they wouldn't be red, they'd be orange because they're really not critical to the health of the page. The length of the description is sufficient. And let me just show you what that looks like here. If I remove that content, you can see as I type stuff into this area, there is a roll bar that, well, it's like a progress bar that shows me when I've typed enough. So the thing, I can't talk and type at the same time, so bear with me. There we go. So the same thing with the SEO title. You're just going to keep on typing information until it goes green, because what that'll do is make this light down here green. Okay, the length of your description is sufficient. The focus keyword is only in 1 out of 6 hub. Okay, it's still giving me a green because I did on purpose use smart goals. I didn't do it the first time around, so this was orange before. So I actually fixed this one and got a green light by using smart goals in an H2 tag or header tag. The image, I knew this in advance, so I put smart goals in the alt tag. I also named the file name of this image with smart goals in it, because again, that's another thing that search engines are going to look for. Articles should be 300 or more words in order for a search engine to take that page or article seriously. So there may be times, depending on the purpose of the page, where you don't hit 300, not even remotely. I've got some of those on my site, but they're not really meant to be found by the search engines and not really meant to drive the interest or the relevance of what my website's about with the search engines. So, you're going to use this plugin on pages where you're really trying to drive SEO interest on the search engines. This is keyword density, which if I hadn't said, I think I didn't the first time around, I didn't say SMART goals enough. So I found some very conversational places to put in SMART goals and got the green light. SEO title has the focus keyword and it's first, has a nice length. Focus keyword is in the URL, which is up here, SMART goals. See that right at the beginning. If you do this by creating the title, then usually your permalink or your slug is going to have the keyword first. And it can be really tricky, honestly, getting that keyword to be the first part, because it may not be super conversational. It may be like a middle of the sentence type of a phrase. So again, this was a little bit of a shoehorn for me with this title, SMART goals, how to set goals that are productive and get done. That's a little bit of a shoehorn. But if people are searching for it, then that's, going to get their attention. So again, going through the analysis, the whole point of this is to start with your focus keyword, get your snippet, the preview basically of what's going to show up here, because when the search engines are clear on what this page is about, they're going to start saying, oh, well, this page is about SMART goals. Here's some people searching for SMART goals. And I can tell with these different context clues, which are created by all these different items here, that this page is all about SMART goals. If somebody searching for SMART goals lands on this page, they'll be happy because they found what they were looking for. That's the most important thing. Is search engines, they're not really trying to penalize you or reward anyone else. They want the people searching via that search engine to be happy with the search results, which means they're finding content that is directly the answer to whatever problem it is that they were facing. So getting back to a little clue that I had said before about, here's one that I hadn't gotten. Let me see if I can find it in the analysis. Sorry, it's doing that little wobbly thing. Okay, let's go to the analysis. There was one thing that, yes, okay. It's important to create smart internal links on your website, which means that certain content on a page is related to or supportive of another page on your website. So what I did here, because you are trying to create that beautiful web structure, so creating a link to another part of your website can help tell the search engines what other pages of your site are about. So what I did is link this to my business strategy page, because I offer business strategy services. And by talking about things that people who are interested in SMART goals, they're interested in getting things done. If they are business owners or entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, etc., and they land on my website, well, they're going to see that, yes, this was some good content because I gave them very simple solutions to setting really powerful goals. And then I tie it into how other ways that I can help them, because maybe they're looking for other type of business solutions. And that might be business planning, marketing planning. It might be even I do accountability for business owners, because they need someone that they can talk to, report back to say, yes, I did my homework. Here were the things that happened as a result of that. And then we can talk about what's your next plan of action. So SMART goal setting is really a part of smart business strategizing, which is something that I offer. And so you thinking to yourself, well, what do I offer and how do I help people? And how does this blog article, for instance, tie back into how I help these people or the products and services that I offer? So that's really important for creating that beautiful interconnected web, because not only are the search engines going to pick up on that, but your website is now built to draw in and direct that traffic of people who are interested in what you're offering. I hope that makes sense, and if it doesn't, please ask your questions again in the the chat section, or if you're watching this video after the fact, leave it in the comments and I'll answer it then. Or we may even cover more of this in another webinar, because SEO is a huge, huge topic. WordPress handles it very well. It was built to do so. And that's why Google, for instance, gives a little bit extra or higher points to sites that are built on WordPress than those that are not built on WordPress. Is because WordPress does a really smooth job of interconnecting the information on your website, which is important for the search engines. And again, the search engines are really just trying to anticipate the behavior of people interacting on the web so that they can create a smooth, seamless, meaningful experience for let's face it, you and I are the people on the web. We are searching for things, we're looking for information, we're seeking answers to our questions and problems. And this is how you, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a service provider, can tap into this really great resource, honestly, of, it's not the search engines call the shots. The search engines are actually trying to anticipate our behavior. So again, Yoast SEO, fantastic plugin. I highly recommend it, 100 million% recommend it. If you don't, again, your stuff, if it shows up in search results at all, it's going to be on like page 100 where nobody's ever going to look, ever. And so it doesn't really serve you. It doesn't serve your business. It doesn't serve your clients and potential customers, because if you can solve their problem, then you need to help them find you. And that's what SEO is all about. And so I hope you have found this webinar useful. I want to thank you for joining us at Ninjaversity, powered by web.ninja. Again, my name is PJ. If you have found this useful or think you know somebody who would, please share wherever you or they like to hang out, social networks, other in-person networking, and send your friends to ninjaversity.com. They can sign up for the notifications. And this, again, is a free webinar that we like to hold weekly. It's a really nice hangout where people can ask the questions. You can ask your questions, because I really hate seeing people fight WordPress or wait or just worry about, hey, I'm afraid I'm going to break it, is something I hear a lot from people. And by going over these topics and helping you get familiar with WordPress directly, I hope to help you move beyond the fear, move beyond the waiting or the uncertainty or the time it can take to actually learn WordPress, because yes, there is a learning curve. So again, thank you for joining us. I hope to see you next time. This is PJ signing out, and here's to your success.